Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel, Yorkshire Vlogger. For those who are new to my channel, hit subscribe and click that bell so that you don't miss any new content. So without further ado, let's have a look at the top 10 best action films underrated for far too long. Judgment Night 1993. It stars Emilio Estevez, Stephen Dorff, Cuba Gooding Jr. and Dennis Leary. Features House of Pain's Everlast in a supporting role, and it boasts a soundtrack that includes Sonic Youth, Teenage Fanclub, and a collaboration between Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill, which should tell you all that you need to know. The story follows a group of friends travelling to a big fight in a luxury RV. They find themselves caught up in a drug deal gone wrong. The setup is fairly standard and it isn't high quality filmmaking by any means. There is plenty of entertainment to be found in this movie. Ricochet 1991. Denzel Washington and John Lithgow are two actors that rarely give a poor performance. Ricochet also found widespread critical acclaim when it first hit theatres in 1991. The plot features an escaped convict seeking revenge on the cop who put him behind bars. Rapid Fire 1992. Brandon Lee will always have a place in Hollywood folklore due to his tragic death on the set of The Crow, as always tends to be the case with these kinds of movies, but the barrage of almost wall-to-wall fistfights and shootout more than compensates for a generic cops and robbers tale, all held by Lee's true breakout performance. Last Action Hero 1993. Last Action Hero suffered commercially from coming up against the unstoppable box office might of Jurassic Park. The meta-narrative, self-aware humour and frequent winks at the audience were all well ahead of the times. But there's so much going on that none of it really gets a chance to stick. There's just something so shamelessly ironic. Enjoying something of reprisal, many movie fans see it as an unsung postmodern cult classic. Time Cop 1994. Time Cop remains Jean-Claude Van Damme's highest-grossing starring role, one of the last to score a big screen release before the Muscles from Brussels made the VOD realm his permanent residence. The title concisely sums up the high concept, while the script isn't strong enough to maximise the potential of a time-travelling action flick. There's enough brawls and suspense to entertain those willing to turn their brains off and suspend their disbelief for almost 100 minutes of set pieces and gaping plot holes. Waterworld 1995. The most expensive movie ever made of the time of its release, Waterworld holds a reputation as a box office bomb, but when one factors in home video sales, the 175 million misfire actually turned a decent profit for Universal. Plus, it's actually not bad. In fact, it easily deserved a spot on this list of underrated 90s action movies. Hardly a 90s action movie classic by any means, but there's still enough to recommend about Waterworld that movie buffs can't instantly dismiss, if not even first hand, especially if they all know about it due to the legendary tales of behind the scenes turmoil. Ronin 1998. The European setting and crunching vehicular carnage was a clear influence on the Bourne identity, not to mention heavily indebted to Frankenheimer's own French Connection 2. The end result? A definitely adult-skewing genre piece released at the time when studios primarily marketed action fare toward a younger demographic. The Last Boy Scout 1991. Producer Joel Silver, director Tony Scott, writer Shane Black and star Bruce Willis were hardly strangers to the action genre, so The Last Boy Scout was guaranteed to be serviceable at the very least given the talent involved. Meanwhile, Scott continued his hot streak as the man responsible for some of the most stylish popcorn movies coming out of Hollywood at the time. Despite the similarities to Lethal Weapon, Black once again manages to put a fresh spin on the buddy cop movie, teaming up a world-weary private investigator with a disgraced football player and letting the sparks fly. The Long Kiss Goodnight, 1996. Samuel L. Jackson holds almost 200 acting credits to his name and admitted that The Long Kiss Goodnight is his favourite out of all of them, which is quite the endorsement coming from the single highest grossing actor in the history of cinema. Shane Black once again sticks to the tropes he knows best, but spins his usual odd couple dynamic into an espionage thriller played out in reverse. Dialogue sizzles and the chemistry crackles between the two leads in what might be very well Black's best ever script. Hard Rain, 1998. Christian Slater gives his best leading man performance ever and reminds you why Hollywood was once so desperate to elevate him to the top A-list, while Morgan Freeman takes a rare villainous role and brings all of the gravitas you would expect. The script from Speed's Graham Yost is exactly as high in concept as previous effort, and the ensemble cast is filled out by recognisable character actors making the most of their one-note roles. Hard Rain is one of the most unfairly overlooked and severely underrated action movies ever made. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching Yorkshire Vlogger. Until the next video, I'll see you soon. Bye!